Hi, and welcome to Think Tank Thursday. I'm Denise Killian with Trainertainment. We're thrilled that you're joining us today because, on Thursdays, we always encourage you to take a moment, just take 20 minutes out of your very busy and hectic day and spend some time thinking. So, we couldn't do that, though, without our sponsor. So, I want to take a moment to say thank you to them and give our appreciation to our sponsors who make it possible for us to bring you Think Tank each and every Thursday. Today, we're going to talk about something that many of you are facing right now. It is the opportunity to grow your business, whether it's adding a new attraction, expanding the footprint of your business, or maybe even having another center. So it's something that's a huge undertaking and can be quite overwhelming. But there's some opportunities and some resources out there that can make that whole process a little bit easier for you. And there's no better person to talk about it than our guest today, Alyse Sklover with Roller. We're very excited to have her and hear her experience and what it can bring to the decisions that you're making right now. Alyse, welcome to Think Tank Thursday.
Hey Denise, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to talk to you today about something that I think a lot of people are excited about and equal measures terrified about. And that's expanding while maintaining a good customer experience. So let's get started. Thanks to Roller for always being a sponsor. We love our partnership with Roller.
We
Um,
love it.
Tell me about how long have you been there? Tell me about how you got to Roller and what your experience.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm the senior manager of events and partnerships for Roller, and I've been here about 15 months now, 15 months. I've been in the events industry for about 21 years, and I've been in the attractions industry on and off the whole career, but for the last about 10 years. I came from IAPA prior to here, and I was an operator for a long time in between and prior as well. So, all of those experiences from association to operator has really been like wonderfully enriching to be on the vendor side and be able to bring those different perspectives kind of into play with everything I do.
Well, I think it's the perfect balance because your experience, you know what like, right? You know what
Yeah.
the operators need. You know
Yeah.
what these centers need because you run them.
Yeah.
So being able to be that bridge is kind of fantastic.
Yeah. Sometimes I find myself talking to operators and having to like pinch myself or remind myself to like say it from the roller perspective because I think I live what we do so much. And I believe in what we do so much that I think it organically comes into the things I talk about and the ways I share information and guide operators that I speak to. So sometimes I have to like pinch myself and be like, no, use that term or something. But um, I really have found it to be a great thing to be able to share with operators and be able to share back with the company too about what I hear from people and what I've experienced myself.
That's pretty fantastic. So today we're going to talk about something that you guys, I think just today, this article is coming out, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
So, okay, Unleashing Growth, a comprehensive guide for attraction venue operators and owners to expand their business.
Yeah. It's a mouthful.
That is a mouthful. What is this
Yeah.
article about?
Yeah. So I mean, it's really just we know that when a business is successful, or even when a business is hitting a bit of a plateau, people are always thinking about wanting to expand, whether it's another venue, whether it's adding attractions, whether it's taking on more square footage, whether it's updating. This article really kind of takes you through some of the opportunities, the benefits, the challenges, questions to ask, things to do and consider in the process. So it's pretty comprehensive, and it really kind of goes through and if you read through it and you take it in, I think it could really be beneficial for someone to read through in this place.
Yeah, absolutely. And, anytime there's change, it can be wrought with the I don't knows that are
Yeah.
terrifying.
Hmm.
If you've expanded or built the new center, you know that the things that you do know can be terrifying too. Uh, so,
Yep.
what are kind of the top challenges that you see that
Yeah.
you go through?
I mean, I know from some of my experience, I mean, I it's hard not to lean on this, but like the construction, the permitting, the all that stuff tends to be when it comes to like new attractions, building, growing, those those are always completely unpredictable. I can't I can't even tell you how many times you know, you need to put darker tint on the windows because birds are at too much of a risk of flying in and we won't let you open or there's so many things that kind of pop up for people. So I always think about when it comes to change or growth or every event that I go into, I think about actually a quote from my husband's mentor. He always used to say that luck favors the prepared. And I know that's not like he came up with it, but he just uses it all the time. So it's always ringing in my head. So I think the best thing you can do is ask yourself as many questions ahead of time and like do more even if it means less, like it's the equivalent of in the events and the production and like film industry et cetera, where it's the hurry up and wait mentality. So I think things like insurance, construction delays, does your current infrastructure support the growth that you're looking for? um, do you have enough staff? Is the staff that you have the right staff? Are they capable of the growth? Do they have the knowledge that they need for it? Funding's obviously always a great thing. And also just sometimes making your mind up and really feeling not only strongly about the decision, but sticking to it sometimes too, because it's so easy to be pushed sometimes.
There are times when you have to just have some blind faith and
Yeah,
keep with
sure.
your plan and
Yeah,
keep moving
definitely.
forward. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the construction, the city's timeline for when they're going to give you the certifications or the inspections and all of that are really to a large part out of your control.
Oh, completely out of your control. But again, that goes back to that luck favoring the prepared because, you know, you might get one person on the phone at City Hall that says that you've done enough, but like in the back of your mind, if there's that one more form that you think you need, like just have it ready. Um, and I think sometimes the reality of it is that controlling the controllables is always the thing that you can do. And so I mean, to tie it back, a bit to like what Roller's part is in a venue's expansion, I would say that having a system that really puts as much as you can into one place, allows you to like cut down on how much time your staff is having to put into, whether it's checking people in or booking things or different promotions or, um, people being able to seamlessly book a party online and, being able to control some of the customer recovery stuff with our guest experience score after they leave. Those are all things that, you know, um, I love it. I love the intangibles, like the qualitative things that you can't really always put a number on, are so valuable. And it's something that like me as an event person, when I have to explain why it's important for me to be at a certain event or for us to represent a certain thing, you can't always put a number to things. Sometimes you really have to tell a story, and we can show numbers for how like having a all-in-one, cloud-based software and really putting your systems into one and having the online party bookings, we can show you incremental numbers. But there's also these statistics that are kind of a little bit emotional and saying like, hey, my staff didn't have to worry about this and we were able to minimize the amount of people in our waiting area or something like that. So any sort of friction you can remove internally and externally gives you more space and bandwidth to be able to focus on the things you need to focus on as you grow your business.
So I'm writing notes because there's like 17 things I want to follow up with on everything you just said because it's it, right? So we're going to backtrack to when you were talking about, is my staff ready to expand? A
Yep.
lot of times you get really excited as an owner and you think, oh, there's this new thing, we got to have it. Or, hey, this space became available next door. Let's buy it and let's knock down a wall and let's expand and let's do X, Y, and Z and all these new things, which is awesome. And that's what owners and operators are supposed to do, to be those visionaries. But there's some harsh realities
Yep.
that you've got to address too.
Yep.
And, is my staff ready? Um, can the community support this new thing? Those are really important factors. So, what thoughts or tips do you have for people that are looking to expand or looking to add that additional attraction in terms of the internal look you need to do
Yeah, for sure.
forward?
I think understanding, studying your current business is the most valuable thing you can do. You know, Sometimes you hear about venues who were like party bookings, like we want parties. Parties are our hugest opportunity for increased per cap. They're our hugest opportunity to get more people in that will become repeat visitors or book more parties. It's like, I mean, we all know that parties are such a value add. So then some people will sit there and say, great, I'm going to add 20,000 square feet of party space. Well, what does that 20,000 square feet do Monday through Thursday?
Yeah.
Or times a year, you might not have as many parties, or, you know, God forbid, there's some reason that, we're never going back to a pandemic, but during that time where you couldn't have, right, bless up, like cross fingers. But I think that was a period of time where, some people who had this 20,000 plus square feet, like, what do we do? I think people realized, okay, well, I have a strong social media presence, so I can put in a temporary thing. Like, they have, I mean, it's wild the things that we have in our industry now, mobile laser tag units, mobile VR units that they could set up in a matter of an hour. So do you get this piece of equipment that you can use in that space when there's no parties? Well, that would only make sense if people open the emails you send and see the posts that you make, because putting that up for 2 days a week is not going to be a value add if you have to spend tons of money on advertising. So I think that might not have even really made holistic sense, but I think the goal in what I'm saying is know your business. You know your staff, you know your audience. Like if your audience hates technology, like are you going to put the most advanced VR in your place? Maybe not. Like maybe you'll look at getting miniature golf or something that might be a little more traditional. Maybe you expand your arcade, maybe you know, level up your menu or do trivia nights or whatever it might be that fits your not only your demographic but also your business as well.
Yeah.
So I think you have to always make that decision. Do you, like with the staff, do you train your staff to understand it? Just because attendant list seems to be one of the buzzwords that we have nowadays with attractions, um, which is great because obviously labor is continually a bit of a challenge. But just because it's attendant lists, you might now need to have somebody on staff who can troubleshoot. So they might not have to stand there the whole day, but you might need to be sure that you have someone at all times who knows how to like do a hard reset on it. Because we all
Right.
know that solves everything, right? Turn it off and turn it back on. Kick
I
it.
mean, everything, right?
So, I mean, honestly, all those like words to just say, like, know your business, know your customer. And that's something that I think, not just roller, but having systems that work for you allows you to see like, what is it? with birthday parties, do they do add-ons or do they purchase the cake from you? Because if they do purchase the cake from you, do you maybe consider, I don't know, expanding your kitchen to be able to bake cakes in house? Like, I don't know what it looks like, right? But for everyone, understanding the data, and more data isn't better. The right data is better. And like so many people, I'll never forget my CEO at the last, when I was an operator at the last company I was at, would always say, he would always look at us and go, "What do you need that for?" And I'd be like, but I want to know how many people did this room on Tuesdays. And he'd be like, okay, well, when you get that information, what's it going to do for you? And it was always important to understand it. And at the end of the day, I learned what I did need to know and, and how to make my data and how to make my systems work for me and for the business.
100%, 100%. Now, when you're talking about parties and booking, and there's so many opportunities now and so many choices on what system to use.
Yeah.
But having a system, an attendantless attraction, all online booking is great, but
Yeah.
key point, you still need people.
Oh, completely. Yeah. I think, I think what it is at the end of the day, like, I think there are things that systems can do for you.
Mhm.
And I think the opportunity for online booking is most important. But at the end of the day, like I used to do events at Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex, and some of these events were wicked intricate. Like Denise, they were I still need some therapy, but they were very intricate. But they were so detailed that there's no way the most perfect system in the world could never have done it holistically. But someone could have come on and answered a lot of questions, and we could have gotten a lot of that discovery out of the way. So when we did have that conversation, um, they could come in knowing an idea of how much it might cost. So then some of that conversation doesn't have to happen. Um, they could have been like, oh, so I can have the event in the Rocket Garden, or I could do this, people could understand those things. Um, I think, I think your systems, like I said, they're meant to work for you. So having party bookings online is for, Candy from Trainertainment talked about by the time she's able to sit down and book her kid's birthday party, it's 9 o'clock at night. The kids are asleep. And if she can't go online and book it, and it's a complicated experience because she's just had a long day, she's exhausted. Like she's already having to dish out the $500,000 to have this birthday party. If you make it a difficult experience for them, or they have
They're
to send
gone.
an email and then who the heck knows when they're going to respond or read the email and have the time to reply, you're going to lose them. So
100%.
I think I think having systems in place to do the things that the systems can do just gives you the opportunity, again, like kumbaya, gives your people the space to deliver the product that is meaningful. Like the computer or the software can't see the little kid drop his ice cream and get him a new ice cream.
Right.
Like when the card reader doesn't like accidentally drains the card of all the value, and that kid is like super bummed out because he wasn't able to earn the stuffed animal he wanted, it's going to be your people on the floor that are able to go over and say, you know what, man, I saw you kick butt at that game. Here's that toy
Yeah.
anyway. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's what it does is it allows you to have staff on hand that you not only can empower and train to do that, but they're free to do that because they're not worried about doing all the other things that a system can do for them.
100%. And like with the birthday party, um, Candy is completely right in the example of, and that's her own personal experience that is
Mhm.
shared and echoed by parents all across the country.
Yeah, all over.
Of it's 1 o'clock in the morning and I just finished doing all the other things. Oh, here's my last thing. Let me go ahead and get this book.
Yeah.
It's the starting point that then hopefully you've got you've got this great system in place, and then your employee can call and do the follow-up
Yeah.
and make sure that we've got the perfect party for their kid. But how much time they spend online to be able to get to that point is really, really essential.
It's so essential. And actually, one of the things that I actually really love about our party booking process
Yep.
is our progressive checkout, right? So this is something that like I will scream from the rooftops, and I did 2, 3 years ago before I even worked at Roller, but having a checkout that allows you to see a running total as you're clicking things. Um, because I don't know about you, but like sometimes you go and you're buying something online, and so say you have a budget of $1,000 for your kid's birthday party, and that's a lofty birthday party, but whatever.
I was about
thousand
to
dollar
say, I
birthday
want to
party.
go to that birthday party. Ah.
Well, maybe I'll invite you. I've got a big one coming up soon. So if you're booking this birthday party and you say, the kid made a list of like 20 people, but you were like, oh, well, maybe I can invite their siblings, but that'll be 30 people. Well, if you go in and you put the 20 and then you see, oh, wow, I think I can add, it's all in the window as you're going through it. And as you click it, it then says, okay, well, do you want pizza or hot dogs? What kind of toppings on the pizza? Like all the questions you need to ask. But as you're making those decisions, like
Oh,
everyone wants pepperoni, but can I afford to do pepperoni on every pizza? You're seeing it happen live. So what it does is it minimizes the whole going to the cart to see how much it costs because it's showing you the whole time. Um, so minimizing clicks is very helpful in being frictionless. Making a booking system and a party booking process or a checkout process look similar to your website creates a level of continuity and cohesion that makes somebody feel more comfortable. Um, and really just like solid visuals, clean layout, clear directions with buttons. It's amazing how much easier it is because you're making a pretty big decision when you're booking a party because we all know a kid will have a meltdown. I would have a meltdown if my birthday
yes.
party got messed up. So, um, the frictionless word, I think that's a really great way of putting it. And I think that's a really great example of creating a frictionless experience, making sure they walk into your venue feeling good to begin with.
Hmm. No, 100%. And, the making it easy, like it's kind of like when you grocery shop online for
Yeah.
pickup or delivery,
Yeah.
versus when you go into the store.
Yep.
And how many times have we all gone into the grocery store, put everything into our cart, and got to the checkout and was like, oh, I just spent how much money?
100%.
But then when you do it online,
Yeah.
you can be more judicious about what you want to match your budget.
Yeah.
Uh,
And in a weird way, you save money, but I think you also spend more too in some ways.
uh-huh, uh-huh.
Like my Sam's Club, you know, nod to Sam's Club here. My husband's like obsessed with their app because you can scan the items you put in your cart as you're going, and you can pay on the app. And then you just walk out in a certain lane that I guess has like a camera to just make sure you haven't added anything in.
Yeah.
Um, and for him, it's because he doesn't want to deal with the person at the cash out counter. For me, I like it because everyone knows when you go to those wholesale stores, you go in with the intention of just getting like
Two
snacks for
things.
your kids. Yeah, two things, snacks for the kids' lunch boxes, maybe some apples, and like, oh, you need a pack of socks. But then all of a sudden you black out and you've spent like $500 and you're like, and what are you going to do? Like, look at the person who just scanned your groceries a million miles an hour and tell them to like take things off. Like,
Yeah,
most of us just shame purchase it and then regret it later. Um,
100%.
but like, I don't know about you, but in an online experience, if I have to go to the cart and see, and then it's hard for me to take it out of the cart or whatever, I'm just going to give up.
Right.
And I'm a fairly like persistent human. Like I'm not the type to just give up. And I know and like technology. So I definitely think understanding and creating that frictionless experience in an online environment is very gives you the opportunity to also track,
Right.
which like I said earlier, in the nod to growing, expanding your business is being able to track people's behaviors and wants and habits. Um,
And
really
lets you
allows you to see
create
opportunity.
packages that are
Yeah.
more streamlined,
Yeah. And
right?
it gives you the opportunity. It shows you where your opportunities are and also where your weaknesses are. Because maybe you don't need to have, um, like 10 kinds of cookies. Maybe you only need to have the three that are most popular,
Right,
whatever it might be.
right, absolutely.
Yeah.
And having diversification in your choices for your packages as well as attractions
Hmm.
is important,
For sure.
but there's that line that you've got to figure out of, if you walk in someplace and there's 50,000 choices, that's overwhelming. That's a lot of overhead. How much are we spending on each of these
Yeah.
things that aren't bringing us back that return of the investment? Which is something that I think that a lot of programs, like the progressive checkout, allow you to be able to track. And that is data that is really key.
Yeah, for sure. I think more isn't always better. I mean, that's like I feel like I'm like, like buzzword Sally over here, but it's true. Like these things are said over and over again because they're true. And the reality of it is that um, you know, the square footage is like gold in your center. And sometimes not filling it has just as much value as filling it. And you might see that like walking in and getting rid of that attraction that was blocking the view of the arcade might actually generate more interest in the arcade where people are going to spend more money than they would on that like $5 experience.
How can people get in touch with you?
Ooh.
If people
So for
are
me,
interested in signing up with Roller Solutions, and you'll
yeah,
have a lot of them,
yeah.
how do they do it? What do they do?
Yeah. So for me specifically, I always tell people to just find me on LinkedIn. It's the best way to kind of get at me. Our industry really likes Facebook too, so feel free to reach me there too. But I'd say for us, just go to roller.software and just start there. And just there's learn more areas, there's get in touch areas. Just click on it and just reach out. We've got we operate in 27 plus countries and we've got 150 of us around the world and um, a lot of venues around the world and we're friendly faces and we love people and we love our industry. So if you have any opportunity to connect with any of us at events or digitally, like just reach out. And even if it's just a curiosity, because um, just like our industry and just like businesses, Roller has evolved too over time. And you might have heard of us years ago or looked at us years ago, but we're always growing and changing. And we love to talk to operators and learn about what you're doing and share what we're doing and see if we can help create solutions and grow businesses. So just reach out to us and ask questions, and we're here to answer.
Right, wonderful.
Yeah.
And if people want to reach out to you directly, how do they do that other than Facebook? Do you have an email you
Oh,
can share?
LinkedIn is great.
Okay.
And that's always an easy way to get to me. But my email is just my first name dot last name at rollersoftware.com. My first name, last name is slightly challenging for most people, so I'm sure it'll be written somewhere in a description.
It'll be right
That's
underneath you.
yeah, perfect. So email is always a great way. And like I said, LinkedIn's always a great way too.
Okay. All right. So it is time
Oh,
for
my favorite.
the think tank question.
I'm ready.
Now, Alyse, I know that you have been a guest with us on Think Tank several times.
Yeah.
And you know that normally our question that we like to ask every guest is, what are you doing to grow yourself?
Mm-hmm.
But you've been a guest with us several times before.
Ooh,
So I'm
curveball.
going to change it up. Are you ready?
Yeah.
What do you do to help others grow?
That's actually easier for me.
Oh,
I'm definitely more of an outward facing person. I really want to always be a safe space for questions, whether it's personal, professional, um, to be a sounding board. Like I love our industry and I feel so cheesy, but 9 times out of 10, my posts and my stories are more about like the connections to the people. Just last show I was at, I spent a huge chunk of time with a current customer, and like we're texting each other regularly now because I created a genuine connection, and I think that when it comes to helping others, I really just want to create a safe space to share knowledge, to ask questions, and to learn. So, making myself available and sharing whatever I can and helping others, whether it's about being a customer of Roller or not, like my time at IAPA, being the liaison for our industry there, or just my time in the industry with events, et cetera. I'm always here as a resource for people. So just um, having open arms and an open mind. I think that's what I always want to be, a safe space for others.
Oh, that's lovely. Oh, you did great. I gave you a curveball. You did great. You did
Oh,
great.
thank you.
All right. Well,
Thank you.
Alyse, I appreciate your time with us
Yeah.
today. And y'all, this article is really great. And it goes through some of the things that Alyse talked about in some more details and specifics. Some of my fun key takeaways that I got from the article is that technology can help reduce your administration by 50%.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Time
pretty
is a big
massive.
deal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time's money, right? I gotta close it out with more of these like, these
Mhm.
buzz phrases. So
And other fun note, specifically, Rollers progressive checkout can reduce the time to book a party by 30%. So that's
yep.
30% less time that your customers are spending online to
Mhm.
get more and more frustrated.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Completely.
those are fun little facts to leave
Yeah.
everybody with, right?
Yeah. And we have customer stories all over our website too. So that's always a great resource to look through. And if you see a name you recognize on those customer stories, like you can reach out to them directly. A lot of our customers love sharing. So
That's good. Sharing is caring.
it's there we go. We had to close it out with another one. I love it.
I was just helping you out there.
Thank you.
All right, Alyse, as always, it's wonderful to talk to you. Thank you so
Same.
much,
Same.
and appreciate your time.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Well, I don't know about you, but I could sit and talk to Alyse for hours and hours and hours. She is so smart. She has such great experience from both sides of the coin, both as a vendor and as an operator. So she's been in the trenches, as it were, and also is able to work for a company that provides solutions to the problems that keep us in the trenches. So, great insight from Alyse. And remember that any decision that you make sure that you're taking in the right data, you're paying attention to numbers and information that counts, and that you are taking a look at any technology that's available to make that easier for you and your staff so that your staff can have time to interact with the customers, which is something that sometimes we lose in all of this. So thanks, Alyse, for your insight. And their new article is available today. So make sure you go and check that out as well. I'd like to thank you for joining us this week for Think Tank Thursday. Again, we want to thank our sponsors because without them, we couldn't bring you Think Tank Thursday. So we appreciate them and all that they do to make this possible for us to share with you. If you'd like to be on Think Tank Thursday, or if you have an idea for a Think Tank Thursday, we want to hear from you. So just shoot us an email at candy@trainertainment.net. We'd love to have your insight and love to have you as a guest on Think Tank Thursday. Thanks so much for joining us. Again, I'm Denise Killian with Trainertainment, and hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next week.